Ladies and gentlemen, it is, I believe, February 19th, and that means the Arizona elk and antelope draw is out. So hopefully everyone's credit cards got hit. Today we're going to talk about the Kifaru ARK frame. The reason we found this fitting to talk about is because although it's been out for a little while, hopefully everyone who drew an elk or antelope tag is going to be needing to pack something out come end of August, middle of September timeframe. And Kifaru International has entered the carbon frame market, and we think this is going to be a great fit for people who are going to be hauling heavy loads come the fall. And we wanted to give you a little overview of what's going on. So, like I said, they have entered the carbon frame market. Historically, they've used a wood laminate, two-frame stay running up the back, and now they have switched over to the carbon sheeting, and it's here to stay. They're pretty much switching everything primarily over to this. This is the lightest weight frame that they have ever made. The foam that is in it, I think, is the most interesting part. It's kind of nerdy of me, but the pre-production version of this frame weighed less than the production version. The reason for that is Kifaru wanted to stick to their kind of morals and values. Is they made the foam a little bit denser so that it would hold up better under heavy loads, which they're known for being able to haul, and it would hold up better in the long haul because over time on some packs you run them and the shoulder strap foam will kind of get compressed down, hip belt foam, lumbar pad. So they beefed up all of the foam so that it would be a little bit more comfortable. I relate it to a Tempur-Pedic of backpacks. I know that's a stretch, but I think it is. I've packed out a deer and a couple javelina this year with this pack, or with this frame, I should say, and I really like it. Still standard 1-inch webbing all the way going up from your load lifters. You've got your quick connect side loops, and that's going to be for attaching your bags, and I'll go over what bags we're going to be bringing in for this year a little bit later in the video. You have your easy adjust harness system. They're at two different heights because Jesse behind the camera and I forgot to put the microphone on me when we shot the first version of this video. So I moved this, so I'm just going to move it back so that you get the idea of what's going on. So you undo your Velcro, little tri-slide comes out. This guy goes through here. If I can not mess this up, this guy slides back through there. You redo your Velcro, and voila, you have adjusted your harness height. So that's really nice because you're able to do kind of on-the-fly adjustments. When I first got this frame this year, I adjusted, I think, twice on the first kind of outing of the trip, just because it's nice to be able to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and kind of do that, I guess, fitting on the go, if you will, to where you're getting the right fit for the right task. With this, like I said, super durable foam in the shoulder pads, super nice 2-inch buckle on the belt. You have the textured oversized lumbar pad, so this really sits on your lumbar nicely. You're not going to get that kind of lower back ache that sometimes you get with a lot of packs. You get the overly tall hip belt, and that's the number one thing that people talk about when they come in here and look at the Kifaru bags in the shop, is how tall that hip belt is, and that relates to even displacement of weight as it goes onto your hips. It's a pet peeve of mine, but I really like having that center stitch so that it gives it a good articulation point to articulate over the tip of your pelvis. So you have an extremely comfortable hip belt. Is a little bit different. You got laser cut MOLLE on the hip belt instead of the traditional kind of 1-inch webbing MOLLE. Going to the laser cut instead of the 1-inch webbing, yes, it looks a little bit different, but it kills a bunch of weight from the pack, and you don't have all of those bar tacks running in between each row, so you do get a little bit more flexibility for putting pouches on. That's the number one thing when you're running like traditional MOLLE setups. You don't get a lot of flexibility out of the system itself, so it can be kind of a pain in the butt to get your MOLLE sticks or the MOLLE webbing down through there. With this, you get a little bit more play, so it's really, really nice. Lots of options to run on your belt. For me, on my left side, I run their Nalgene bottle pocket, And then I have one of the mini belt pouches that it kind of uses like an admin pouch, headlamp, wind indicator, stuff like that. Right side, for me on my personal pack, I do run a handgun on one side, and then I have a med kit, trauma kit on there. We want everyone to stay safe, so it's always good to have something along those lines with you when you're out and about. But this pack frame is a beast, really, when it comes down to it. I think that the carbon sheet is a lot better than individual carbon frame stays. It still bends with you. I don't know if you can see this or if I'm just wasting my time, but hopefully you can. As you're walking, it's still going to articulate with you. And a lot of people think that flex is a bad thing in frame sheets, but you want that torsional flex because it keeps your hip flexors from locking up. If it was stiff, you'd get hot spots kind of in the rear of your hip belt, and the bag wouldn't want to move with you, so your hips would have to work a lot harder to stabilize everything. But if I take this frame and I try to compress it, I'm not that strong, but you can get a little bit of flex out of it. But again, you want to have a little bit of flex. It's an extremely rigid system, so I packed out my dad's javelina this year completely whole. I packed out my wife's javelina whole, and then I packed out an entire mule deer on this frame this year, and it was very comfortable. Kifaru International bags, or I shouldn't say bags, frames, historically, have always gotten more and more comfortable under the more weight they have. So whether you're running a day pack for kind of a run and gun setup, or you're just chasing elk throughout the woods and you don't want to carry a lot of stuff with you, or you're doing this more on an expedition style backpack hunt, you can't really go wrong with it just because it moves with you very well. But when you need to depend on it for weight hauling, you can't go wrong. This year, we're going to have 4 different, I would say, core bag offerings. Hellbender is one of them. I see myself running the Hellbender quite a bit this year for scouting. I can see Jesse running it for shed hunting and whatnot. It does have a very large load sling on it. We're going to be getting them here in the next couple weeks, so we'll be doing videos on each one of those bags so that everyone knows what's going on with them. So the Hellbender is like a day pack, 2,250 cubic inches. We're going to be doing the Bedlam. That's like a mid to high 3,000 cubic inch bag. And then the all new 44 mag Gen 2. We will have that in stock because it's going to be a little bit more archery hunter friendly, just because it does have the kind of boot at the bottom to strap everything to. And then we're going to be running the Ab Soroka, and that's going to be more of an expedition style backpack. Roll top does have a horseshoe front, which for me is a huge deal because I don't like having to undo and redo the top of a roll top bag all the time. And then it does have a front slit for kind of quick, easy access stuff, stuffing a puffy jacket in or whatnot. Snacks, most importantly to me. But you're going to have versatility across the entire line. So if Jesse behind the camera and I went out and we said, hey, we're going to go run and gun, scout, shed hunt, whatever for the weekend, we could both run Hellbenders. And then if it comes down to a backpack style hunt or even a late season hunt, I end up carrying way too much stuff, insulation layer wise, stuff for my wife, stool, all that fun stuff on late seasons, just because it's a little bit colder and I don't get hot as fast, so I don't mind carrying stuff that's a little bit heavier. I'd probably be running like the 44 mag, something in that little bit bigger size range. And you're able to just inline, take one off, put the other on. It takes about 5 minutes, and we'll do video demos on that down the line as we get all those bags in. But we have ARK frames at the downtown location, over at our West Valley location off of the I-10 and Litchfield Park. So feel free to come on down. All of us are experienced pack fitters, so we will get it put on your back. We will make sure that the harness height is right and correctly. We do have weight at both locations so that we can put weight in the bags to make sure that it's sitting down on your shoulders properly so that you're not going to get any kind of neck fatigue or any hot spots while you're going through carrying your general day load or anything a little bit heavier. So kind of to wrap it up, I don't think you can go wrong with the ARK frame. It does come in 2 different heights, the 22 and the 25. Pretty much everyone's going to run the 25. I think the 25 is for anyone who's 5'6" or taller. So you can't go wrong. Everything we got is the 25-inch frames. So Great load lifter angle for pretty much anybody and everybody. You're able to adjust the harness height to where it's going to fit pretty much anybody. I mean, we've got Daniel here who's 6'5" and it fits him great. I'm in that 6'1" range, and then Jesse is in the 5'10" range. You can get it to fit any height, weight, shoulder width, anything. So it's a very versatile frame, and you're able to adjust it on the go. And we go through kind of how to adjust it with you so that if you go out and you wanted to play with it, you can. So feel free to come on down to either location, and we would love to get you fitted up to one of these ARK frames and show you the different bag offerings. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a shout on the shop phone at either location, or you can reach out to us at the Ross Outdoors Instagram. Any way works, and we really want to make sure that you get the right gear for this season. Good luck to everybody this season, and we hope to see you soon.